Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Brian. This is Hogshooter Hot Rods, where we work on cars most all of the time. So hey, I have projects going on, a few of them with our 35 Chevy build, and I just keep working forwards in that car. And part of working forwards is trying to plan ahead, and the car has no glass, none at all. Well, I've got a piece of a windshield over here I'll show you in a second, but we need to get some templates pulled or made so that we can hand that part of this build off to another shop. Good to do while we've got a lot of other stuff going on in the background. We'll take and get these stencils made. We'll get them across town to a glass guy, and he can cut the glass out, get it all ground, sanded, fitted to our templates, and then we'll be able to install that glass later on. So a lot of different ways we could go about making these templates, and I'm going to show you a couple of them that I used on this car. So got one method here. All these cars have garnish moldings that go around the glass on the inside. You can actually use that as a stencil to trace it out on some wood, or maybe even some really heavy, nice flat cardboard. I don't like to use cardboard as much because if the guy's not careful handling it, drop it, bend a corner, potentially have a way to mess up your glass. So with the prices of wood right now, I had this rough piece of soffit laying around. So I just cut it and used it. And it's quite a bit thicker than the original glass, but thickness doesn't really matter for what we're doing here. We just want something that's durable and something that fits the opening in the car pretty much exactly. So another method that you could use is the glass. So this is the windshield out of our 35 Chevy, and you can see it got into a gunfight here and it's all messed up. So definitely have to take time and make sure that you slide this together good and we get all of our ends lined up properly and then fit it in here. And my template's actually a little bit bigger than this glass that I made, but it fits in the car well. I actually thought it might need to be a little bit bigger in a couple places, but we'll go out to the car in a little bit and kind of check out the way this thing fits. So you got your old glass, you lay that out there. Push out here. Push hard. Not so hard to cave the cardboard in. Come on, Sam. Come on. Put up. Yep. Come on. Come on, dogs. Not helping me draw.
They aren't.
You good? All right. I had that big piece of cardboard, my helper holding it on there so I could draw around it on the inside. And now I have a tracing of the glass opening itself. Well, if we cut our glass out that side, she's just gonna whoop, fall right out in the floor. So we need to make it bigger. So you could come around here with some masking tape and put that on your line, but when you get to the corners, that's kind of gonna be tough. So a pair of these dividers, if you're going to fabricate or do most anything, these are things that are going to come in invaluable. You could go down and buy one of the kids' compasses for 2nd or 3rd grade that has a point on one side and a pencil on the other. That would work great for this as well. And all I did was just come up with a arbitrary distance here. I figured make the glass 3/4 inches bigger than the opening, and that would give us plenty of room to glue it in. And I just came around my stencil and kind of put a scribe mark in my cardboard, went and got a brand new blade for my box knife, and I cut this out fairly carefully. I still think I'll end up tracing this onto a piece of my plywood and cutting it out before I take it to the glass guy, because unfortunately, I mean, glass guys, they make more money doing insurance work than they do doing street rods or anything else. So we want to give them plenty of time and kind of set them up for success doing this. So I'll make these templates out of something that's going to be durable, get them as accurate as possible, and then give it to him with plenty of time to spare. Like, I don't really need this glass for probably 2 to 3 months, so that should be lots of time for him to get it done. I did consider buying a glass cutter, a belt sander, and making a video out of making the glass, but I just really don't want to do that. So another thing that we did was we made this stencil or template or pattern, whatever you want to call it. And I made this a long time ago for my door glasses. And my stencil is just about probably 3/8 of an inch short on one side. So I've got to remake this one to fit the interior of that door, and then make sure she'll slide up and down good and do everything that you want a door glass to do. And I could almost use it, but you can see the edge is pretty wavy on there. With your garnish molding, you know, I've got it laid down here on a piece of my, I don't know, 3/8 or 1/4 inch thick plywood. It's really thicker than it's got to be. And there's two sides to these garnish moldings. The rolled side or rounded off side faces the inside of the car. And then you got a nice squared off side that faces the glass. So we want to lay that squared off flat side against our wood. And I'm just going to try to position it on here in the best spot. And I'm going to take a fat Sharpie and use it because it will draw the line bigger than the glass or bigger than whatever we're trying to trace. And I'm adding roughly 1/4 of an inch around this thing size wise. So that, you know, is something you're going to have to verify before you take this to the glass guy to make sure that you're not too big. So check the fit in the car before you take it to the glass shop. So I just wanted to kind of show my process, what I was going to do. We got our stuff drawn out here. I guess I could lay that back down and hold it up and let you see how much we added to the size. I've got it fitting pretty close on this side of it, and then you can see we're quite a bit bigger than that, so I think that'll be great. I'm a little bit bigger on the side, but not much. And I can always cut to the outside of the line, and that'll even add another close to an 1/8 inch with a fat Sharpie. So we're just going to use an electric like jigsaw to cut this out. Use maybe a bigger angle grinder than this, but like a 3-inch angle grinder or something to sand the edges. And you know, you can take that into as much detail as you want, but the glass guy is going to basically throw this on the glass, draw around it, and cut the glass out and then sand it to fit. So it doesn't really matter that it's perfectly smooth, free of sand scratches. You just want it like as smooth as you want the edge of your glass to be. the example I want to give you, when I built this car, I thought a lot of stuff through, but hey, you know, I'm putting it together, trying to get some structure back in it, and you can see my glass hits my bar here, and it's going to hit on this side as well. So I think what I need to do is go get that garnish molding and see how closely it fits, and then we'll know how much we need to trim this. But that's one reason why you test fit the template 100 times before you ever start to try to cut glass. All right, so our garnish molding, it does fit inside of here. It is kind of a tight fit, but it does go. I will have to do a little adjusting, but not much, as I'm not taking into account that's going to sit out a little bit. I did have a minor little freak out moment of these bars being in the way, but once that glass is in, they're going to stick out, and this is going to be just about right when it's all in there. So I'm going to have to just go back and adjust my glass stencil on the sides of it, and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, let's see if if I can do this. Not quite. Get close. Yeah, it'll stay sitting in there for a second. It's going to fall down, but yeah, that's kind of the general process of fitting one that you don't have a piece of glass for existing already. Takes a little bit of time, but make sure and spend the time with the wood. Even though it's super expensive right now, it's going to take less time to make that 3 times than it will to mess up and redo a piece of glass. So, hey, if you like the content, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up, hit the bell so you know when we're putting new stuff out, guys, and we will catch you on the next one.